What's going on, guys? It's Luke22SV here. We're back for the second round of Season 2 of the Career Mode today, here for the Bahrain Grand Prix. And I'm sorry I haven't been uploading too much recently. I'm a bit under the weather, amongst other things going on. But I'm trying to get one uploaded today. And we're here for Bahrain. You can see, for the first time this season, we can see the performance chart. We're currently 5th in terms of performance, just behind McLaren and Red Bull as well. So yeah, Red Bull making some gains from the season, McLaren making a lot of gains, so that's why McLaren have been so competitive in Australia, and we should expect to see them up there in Bahrain as well. So we're coming to a track which I am very poor at, so hopefully we can just have a damage limitation this weekend, because they're not one of my favourite tracks. I just can't get it right around here, and particularly last season we got it all wrong. We had a collision, I think, with Lando Norris last season as well, so if we're fighting with the McLarens again, we'll have to watch out for Lando Norris perhaps again. But here we are on our final attempt. This is our second attempt of this lap of qualifying. We're currently in last place, so the first lap was a terrible attempt. We just got it all wrong. I think we had a bit of traffic as well, so we only really do 2 laps in qualifying. It's just how I do qualifying normally. But here we go then, we're just coming through the next few corners. We're currently up on our time by a little bit, so that's good. We're looking quite good at the moment, so hopefully we can get into the top 10, because that's where we should really be. Alfa Romeo being the 5th quickest team in terms of performance, but we couldn't do that in Australia, neither could Lucas Weber as well, so haven't been able to get Alfa in the top 10 yet, and we really need a good performance in qualifying today to really kick-start this season. But of course, a track which I really struggle at. I don't think the setup is very good either. I need to change the setup perhaps a little bit on this car, because I'm just struggling to keep it on the track, struggling to keep it in a straight line half the time. So we're coming through now to end this lap. We're currently up by a good second or so now, so it's looking really positive, and we should be able to get up the order a little bit. We shouldn't be P20 come to the end of this lap, and now we come around the final corner, and we've just done that little run down towards the line, getting DRS wide open, and they're going to put us only P14. If you took a glance at the top left of the screen there, and now bottom left, you can see P14. So disappointing qualifying again. We're really targeting to be P5. That's what it says on our contract. But Lucas Weber's done well. He's got 4th. So obviously the car has got some good pace, and the McLarens are doing well as well. But we're down at P14 with just disappointing pace in the car. So we really need to sort this out going forward. The 2 Mercedes looking strong again. Bottas, after a disappointing Australia, he's on pole. So we're heading on into the race then for the Bahrain Grand Prix.
The curtain rises once more then on the desert stage of Sakir as the players take their places for the opening act. Will they enthrall us like they did in 2014 with that titanic battle between Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton? Well, we'll find out shortly as we get underway here in Bahrain. Off the back of a
so let's have a look at the grid order then. There was a provisional pole from Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton alongside him. So Mercedes looking at the front row again. So the 2 Mercedes looking very strong going into this season, and keeping it forward. Weber promoted to 3rd, Vettel in 4th in the end as well. So Verstappen 5th, Lando Norris 6th, Devon Butler, Pierre Gasly, and then Danny Kvyat, Nico Hülkenberg, Sergio Perez, Daniel Ricciardo, and then Charles Leclerc with the penalty alongside myself, Kevin Magnussen, Carlos Sainz, George Russell, Alexander Albon, Roman Grosjean, and Antonio Giovinazzi rounding off the grid. So Renault's and Toro Rosso's not really looking too good this season. So yeah, they need to really improve their performance in their car. But we head on to the start of this race then from P14, hoping to get into the points at least today. And again, we get a poor start, and Magnussen jumping us, Carlos Sainz jumping us almost as immediately off the start. We go into turn 1 for the first time, hoping to make a dive bomb really, and indeed we do. We dive past several cars, and it looks like we're up into P10 now, P11. A little bit of contact with the Racing Point there as well, Daniel Ricciardo, but now Danny Kvyat in the Williams. Can we get him into turn 4? We're looking to get a little bit of a slipstream, and now heading towards the outside. You can see Pierre Gasly ahead of us as well. We're looking to go around the outside of him as well, taking another place. We go off the circuit a little bit, come back on, and P10 is now ours for the taking. So P10 after the start, we've gained 4 places. Now we're looking to make another one on Pierre Gasly into the hairpin. So we dive down the inside and do make that move on him. A little bit of contact as well as he turns in on us a little bit there. And now the next target is Devon Butler. So up into P9, a good start for us in this race. And we can be quite happy with that. And you can see the 2 McLarens ahead of us, and the Hülkenberg as well with the Haas. Hülkenberg having a good start to the season as well. In Australia, he looked quite strong. But Haas looking there or thereabouts, probably 6th best at the moment, I'd say Haas are. So Hulkenberg doing really well to get into the top 10. And now we're looking to chase the two McLarens, who are really going to be up there this season. And again, proving that today. Not so much in qualifying today, though. They've been a bit further back. And what they managed in qualifying of Australia, actually managed to get onto the podium. Quite a good result there for Devon Butler in Australia. But now we're going to have to try and see if we can actually compete with these McLarens, and hopefully we can get past them. Because at the moment, I haven't brought any upgrades to Bahrain. Our upgrades are planned to come into China, so we should be looking good into China as we come across the line then to end the first lap in P9. And we'll have a look at a replay of the start. You can see Lucas Weber starting in P3. It's looking very positive for Alfa Romeo at the front for my teammate. Hopefully he can get a good result. That would really boost our points tally at the start of the season. We just dive down the inside of these guys though. A little bit of contact, a little bit of interlocking of wheels there with Daniel Ricciardo's Racing Point. But no worries, we managed to get past that. Deal with that now. We're slipstreaming Danny Kvyat coming up to turn 4 and managing to get past him on the outside. And now we're just going to try and get past Pierre Gasly as well. And but that didn't really work at that point, having to go off the track. But now we get past him into turn 6. Here we go, diving it down the inside of him and making that move stick up into P9. So gaining 5 positions off the first lap. Not quite as spectacular as our first lap in Australia. We had a very good first lap in Australia, but this time still managing to gain places, which was very positive as well. But then chasing after Devon Butler and Hulkenberg and the rest of the pack as well. But now moving on to the end of lap 2, we're still in our position 9. Pierre Gasly chasing us as well, who had a fairly decent start to the season compared to his teammate Verstappen, but back where he usually belongs really, in terms of well, where he was last season, fighting at the end of last season. But now Gasly coming at us, trying to make a move on us into turn 1, and we've managed to turn up the ERS, and he's managed to get past us just quickly there. So we managed to keep ahead of Pierre Gasly despite him getting a good toe on us, but imagine turn up the ERS and he just couldn't be a match for us on the straight. So we have got a really good engine underneath us when we have the hot mode and the ERS turned up. So there we go. We can see Norris fighting with Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg on a charge. He's trying to get past Norris. So Haas has got some good pace here, and the McLaren struggling a little bit perhaps compared to how it was in Australia on the podium, and Norris doing well as well. So McLaren can't find the pace, and we dive down the inside to land Devon Butler here, looking to make a move perhaps, but not quite making that one stick. Perhaps had to think a little bit better of that, and couldn't get past Devon Butler this time. But there you go. You can see that everyone looking up into that little left-hander, double left-hander there. But now DRS open, wide open for the first time, and now we can start focusing on trying to get past these guys, and maybe challenge for the top 6 as well, because we need to get past these guys as well. Hulkenberg doing well at the moment as well. So the Haas has got some good pace at the moment. McLaren really not turning it on in Bahrain. Perhaps it's track specific, how they did well in Australia, and perhaps a little bit of luck as well with the Mercedes being hindered a little bit in qualifying of Bottas. But it's good to see though McLaren and other teams to fight with at the top as well in Season 2. We don't want to just be fighting for the same cars over and over again. Nice to fight with some different drivers as well. Hopefully we'll see some more transfers with the top guys as well. So I didn't see too many transfers in the top end. There was a little bit in the midfield, but a little bit underwhelming, the driver transfers that we had. But now we're going to make a move on the outside of Devon Butler into turn 2, and we've made it past Devon Butler. So here we go, on board with Devon Butler now. We just made it past him. He's going trying to make it back past us into turn 4. So a good little battle here between our F2 rival, our arch nemesis from F2, and the man that ended up winning the F2 title instead of us. But he gets past us again. So we're trying to fight back again. And but yeah, Devon Butler and ourselves locking into battle now. We get moved, sticking on him into the hairpin this time. Didn't make it work last lap, but we did this lap. So up into P8 then, and ahead of Devon Butler. So now can we focus on getting up to Lando Norris? So we're going to have to defend from Devon Butler on this DRS straight again. So now going past the DRS detection and the DRS activation, and Devon Butler's going to have that DRS wide open. But is he going to get close enough to make a move? He's going to the inside into this corner, but is he too far back? He's nudged us a little bit there, and we're around in a spin, and there's a few cars coming in, and there's racing points all over the place there. There's Toro Rossos and there's a Ferrari. We get a 5-second penalty for causing a collision with Devon Butler. Daniel Ricciardo's out of the race. This virtual safety car is out, and what on earth has just happened there? Here's the replay then. Devon Butler going down the inside. Who was at fault here? Did we give him enough room? Was he too far back? We end up in the spin, and the Ferrari and the 2 racing points, and Toro Rosso just come flying in. Is he on board from Devon Butler? Was he too far back? To be honest, I think he was too far back. I'm not sure how we got a penalty for that. When it was just, he should have pulled out of that. There's no way he was going to make it past into that corner. We had that corner. That was our corner, and he just took it away from us. So I don't know how that was our penalty, but Devon Butler ruining his race along with Ricciardo and Perez. So the 2 racing points getting caught up here. Here's the view from Charles Leclerc at the back of it. Just a bit unsighted almost, and the 2 racing points getting caught out, and then the Toro Rosso as well involved. But the virtual safety car ending here, and it wasn't out for long. But Sergio Perez is just ahead of us, and he's going to be going into the pits. Danny Kvyat carries on, and we're going to make the move on Danny Kvyat, and George Russell as well. He's following us right behind, so we're in a sort of Williams sandwich on the main straight here as we go into turn 1. Russell diving down the inside of us, but with a 5-second penalty looming over us, we're going to have to make it into the pits, and now going to be sitting in the pits for 5 seconds more than we would have liked to. So this race has really not gone to plan here, and an incident that really I don't think was our fault with Devon Butler. He's gone backwards as well. Has really hindered his race as much as mine, and the guys ahead of us are so far ahead that they're pretty much long gone, and won't be able to fight for them with them today. So now our main target is really to finish in the points today, in a race where we really should be finishing higher up than that. But there's a car ahead of us that's slowing down, and it looks like it's Nico Hülkenberg. So Hülkenberg having a hell of a race ahead of both the McLarens, and now he's looking like he's slowing down. He's out of the race as well. So it's all gone badly wrong for a few cars in just a space of 2 laps here in this race, and poor luck for Hülkenberg, who's doing really well. There's a bit of debris on the outside there, and now we're going to have to come into the pits at the end of this lap, fit on the medium tyres. We were a bit ruined after that little spin from Devon Butler, but now we're going to be coming into the pits this lap. I'm going to have to sit in the pits for 5 seconds, so hopefully coming in early we'll be able to get a good undercut on fresh tyres, and I'll be able to attack towards the end of this race, and hopefully get some points in the end. It should be really fortunate considering how that incident happened. We'd be really fortunate to get some points. At the moment we're still P7 at that point, but with those 5 seconds added on, we're going to surely be behind George Russell, who is actually keeping up with us, to be honest. So it just shows that our pace really isn't that good around this track, and well, just affected by perhaps what happened with Devon Butler. But now having to sit in the pits for 5 seconds, they finally get those tyres on and we can get away. So down the order we go. You can see just behind us Sergio Perez, Devon Butler, and a few other cars. I think it's the Toro Rosso as well that was involved, and now we're out in P14. So there's still hopeful for points here, so we can still manage points to come out of the pits. Devon Butler now behind us still, so we're going to have another duel with Devon Butler. As we come on to lap 7 after completing our outlap, we should move up to P12 as well. So a few other cars coming into the pits. Grosjean has come into the pits in the Toro Rosso, but now we're going to have to push and try and set some fast laps as well, because now Lando Norris is our next target. Perez and Butler are fighting with each other, so you can see whether we can actually catch up and manage to finish in the point today, because the likes of all the other guys that haven't pitted yet gaining those 5 seconds on us with that penalty, which is really undeserved. But now we're going to try and set a fast lap on these fresh tyres, and indeed we are setting a personal best in sector 1. We're running a bit wide though again. Let's see, just can't really keep it on the track again, locking up the rears going into the hairpin, not hitting the right apex there and getting the right exit out of that corner. So again, really frustrating. Coming to the double left-hander, we're going. It looks like we're turning right instead of going left, and almost into the wall. The amount of oversteer we got there, and just struggling to keep the car on the track at the moment. It's really, really frustrating. We can't do this at the moment. The car is just not working for us at this track. Whatever it is, it's the setup, and the Monk's just not liking this track. But just really struggling to keep the car on the track, and almost in the wall there. So that really could have ended our race even worse. And another incident really wouldn't have done us too many favours. You know, with the 4 races we have to impress, because we could get sacked after 4 races, and you know, we have the contract dispute and everything like that after 4 races. So we really need to impress Alfa Romeo, because we don't want to end up being sacked. We don't know where we'll end up, and I'm pretty sure it's quite easy to get sacked on this game compared to what other games, the old F1 games have shown. But now we're up into P10, so we're in the points. So this is very positive signs for us. So still managing to be in the points. Russell's down the road as we'd expect. So not really too many complaints about that. But Russell down the road, and we're in P10. So still a point available today, despite everything that's happened. And we can be quite happy with that, despite having an incident with Butler. So a point on the cards for sure. It doesn't look like we'll be able to catch up with Butler, Russell, but coming off that curb, we've ended up being in a spin, and now we've lost points to Perez and Butler again. So another spin, and struggling to keep the car on the track again. We've lost the positions to Butler and Perez, and now Grosjean's chasing us too, and going through the double left-hander again. We've run wide, and now we're going to lose a position to Grosjean. So we were going backwards so badly in this race at the moment. It's just struggling to keep the car on the track. Again, another mistake from ourselves. For some reason, it's just not really working out for us today, and we're going to try and get past Grosjean for sure. The man that replaced the replacement of us last season. That was a bit of a tongue twister there. He replaced Danny Kvyat, who replaced us at Toro Rosso. But now we're going to try and get past Romain Grosjean in the Toro Rosso. And Toro Rosso haven't looked too fighty at the start of this season as well, down there with the Renault. So if we can get past Grosjean, that would be perfect really, because we should be able to get past the Toro Rosso, which hasn't got much pace. And we get DRS open. And are we going to get close enough to manage to make that move? We're currently in the rich ERS mode. Is that going to be good enough to make the move on Grosjean? We look a bit too far back, but we dive down the inside anyway. A little bit of contact, and we're through up into P11 now. So one place off the point still, but we really need something to go wrong ahead of us. Maybe another car to pit, but Grosjean fighting back at us here, and really not wanting to give up that P11. And we lock up into turn 4. But it looks like we now have managed to steal that position away from Grosjean, and we can focus on getting to the end of this race now, because Grosjean should be staying behind us now for the rest of this race. We can be happy with that. So really just got to keep the car on the track now for the rest of this race. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to catch up with Devon Butler for sure, because the pace is just gone, and again locking up badly into the double left-hander. A corner that I think a lot of people would struggle with, but me more so at the moment in this race. Just really I need to change the setup next time I come to this track, because I think it must be something to do with the setup just not being right. Maybe just part of me not liking this track as well. Not very suited to this track compared to others, but I guess everyone has tracks that they just do better at than others as well, and this is just one that I really struggle at. And so we're just going to have to get this track out of the way, and hopefully now after this track we can get those upgrades coming into China and move forward, and hopefully we can score more points. And in time, hopefully later on in the season, we may be able to fight for some wins, and eventually we'll be able to fight for a championship at some point. Whether we'll be able to do that this season is unknown. But moving on then to lap 10, we can see Antonio Giovinazzi is out and out in the pits rather, and now he's come out of the pits and we're up into P10, and we can see a Renault in front of us. So Renault having a disappointing season so far. Both of the Renaults on the hard tyres. I don't really know what that's all about. It's a weird one that Giovinazzi could have easily come on the softs there, but both the Renaults then haven't really looked strong at the start of the season. Got a really poor car, and while Sainz managed to make the most of everyone having a bad race today with Leclerc, not even in the points either. So Leclerc having a bad day, we're having a bad day, but we're still managed to get a point away from this, despite barely being able to make it around the track in every lap. But it looks like we're going to be able to get a point, and Leclerc will be catching us up anyway. He's trying to get past Giovinazzi as we move on to the last lap of this race. The Renault getting some points today, which is exactly what they need when their car's not really working. You just need to make the most of the opportunities you can get, which is what they look like they haven't been able to do today. We're going to get a 1 point today. Weber, I don't know where Weber is, but it looks like the two Mercedes are going to be winning this race again. Valtteri Bottas putting the Australia race behind him to win this race, and hopefully getting his championship back on track. Hamilton though still second, and hopefully our teammate has managed to do well though with the Red Bull and the Ferrari of Ferrari of Vettel and Red Bull of Verstappen. He'll be fighting with in this race. Two McLarens not really being too competitive in this race as well. Norris just having a trouble-free race, unlike Devon Butler, who took us out. But Devon Butler managed to recover as well. He's still a few positions ahead of us. So George Russell as well, he's had a good race for Williams. So yeah, that's good points for Williams in this season. They've started the season quite well as well. So we're going to cross the line in P10. It's going to be the end of this race, and disappointing, but I think it's the best we could have done with everything that happened. And yeah, we're going to have to move on to China and hope that we can improve on that really. And Toto Wolff happy with that one, although I'm not sure the graphics card is happy, because he looks like the PS2 PS2 Toto Wolff there. But there you go, Vettel on the podium, so Weber wasn't unable to hold a P3. So again, it looks like Mercedes is going to be dominating from at least the start of the season, but we need to clamp down on the Mercedes domination and hopefully take it away from them. Unless, well, if you can't beat them, we might end up joining them one day. But Weber finishes 4th in the end, which is a good result, really. We can't really complain too much about that. Both the McLarens doing well again, but Mercedes probably leading the constructors now after that. But it's a good result for them. But there you go, we're in 10th. Leclerc down in 11th. Giovinazzi 12th for Renault. To move to the standings to see how we got on. Then we can see the race director and actually how many people got penalties there. Gasly, Perez, Leclerc, Albon, Fiat, and well, there you go. No penalty though for Devon Butler, who pretty much caused the whole incident. But we're down into 10th in the driver standings. Weber's up to 7th. 2 McLarens are doing quite well as well. 2 Red Bulls between us though, so we're currently ahead of the Red Bull team by 2 points, and then McLaren a 3rd, Ferrari 2nd, and then Mercedes 1st. So Williams up into 6th. So we're all looking quite good in the constructors at the moment. Renault getting off the mark as well. Racing Point, a bit of a surprise to see them struggling at the moment, but I'm sure they'll be able to score some points. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed it today. It was an interesting episode for sure. I hope you, well, see you soon in China then. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon.